Welcome to All About Art. My name is Alexandra, and I'm an art historian, curator, and writer. Within this podcast, topics relating to art history, cultural policy, the art sector, as well as a large range of other art-related topics will be covered. Conducting critical discussions, having entertaining exchanges, or just enjoying some relaxing chats, All About Art is where you'll find it all. Join me in exploring and developing cultural discourse. Welcome to another episode of All About Art. In this episode, I sat down with Gemma Peppé, director and founder of the renowned fundraising initiative Art on a Postcard. Art on a Postcard was first launched in 2014 as a one-off secret postcard auction to raise funds for the Hepatitis C Trust. However, the response and popularity has allowed it to continue multiple times a year, every year, since that very first auction. These auctions offer postcard-sized works by phenomenal artists such as Damien Hirst, Grayson Perry, Marina Abramovich, Patrick Hughes, Gilbert and George, and Wolfgang Tillmans, to name but a few. This episode coincides with their most recent auction, curated by gallerist and curator India Rose James. There are works on offer by the brilliant artists Olivia Sterling, Alma Barrow, Christy M. Chan, as well as Mark Quinn and Courtney Love. Unlike all previous ones, this auction will not be raising money for the Hepatitis C Trust, but instead will be donating the proceeds to Choose Love, a charity that supports Ukrainian refugees. The link is in the show notes if you want to go have a look at the art and maybe even bid to win one for as low as £50. I want to thank Gemma for coming on the podcast and for Art on a Postcard for the collaboration. Before I dive in, I wanted to let you lovely listeners know that All About Art is on Patreon. So if you want some behind-the-scenes content, maybe a bit of merch, the chance to get one-on-ones with me and my guests, or you're simply wanting to support this project, I would be absolutely thrilled if you decided to sign up. You can do so through the link in the show notes. I also wanted to say thank you to those who have already signed up. Your support means the world, and it makes the further production, improvement, and growth of the podcast possible. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful. And now, on to the interview. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
You're welcome.
I always like to start with asking about my guest's background and education. So can you tell me and the lovely listeners about what you studied and how you got into the arts?
Okay, so I did film used to be called LCP. It's called LCC now. But I didn't get there via a traditional route. I left school at 16 and then I lived in Madrid and did nothing much really until when I lived in Madrid for a while, back and forth, came back to England and met my son's father when I was maybe, 23 or something. Mm-hmm. And had Louis at 25. So I was really kind of not doing very much and then having Louis gave me my son gave me the real kind of energy and confidence to do something and I thought also, I really want to set an example for this boy. I've got to get educated. I've got to get my act together now. Really. Yeah. So, and my son's father was in a band. So, I did really have, I just wasn't doing much with my life. I have to say. But so I had Louis and I went to, I did an access course where it was film, video and photography, which you wouldn't get that now. Yeah. Anyway, so I did, while he was a little baby, I did photography and I used to rent out a darkroom. And then I did this access course and from the access course, I got into LCP and Westminster to do film, and Westminster said, well, you can do film or photography, and that was really unheard of because I was told don't apply to London colleges, you don't stand a chance of getting in. And I just thought, well, I'm not going to apply anywhere but London because I've got my kid here and I've got my family here and I don't want to leave London. So
So are you London born and bred?
I am. My parents moved out when I was young, but my brothers and sisters well, they were all here then when he was little. They've since, gone wherever. But yeah, but yes.
So tell me a little bit more about your education, but also how did you enter into the arts? You studied film and photography?
So I did, so at the end of my film degree, it was apparent that, that I'd have to do running in order to get to work in a production company. The only way I could make my own stuff would be to raise the money, there's a long process in doing that. And the people that do make their own stuff and raise the money, they're working alongside it. If you're a single mother, that's not open to you, and it's not open to you either working as a runner at a production company, because you have to get up at 6 a.m. and maybe won't be back until 2 p.m, and there's just no way you can do that with a kid. So I went into music, and I went to work at a music agency, and I became a DJ agent.
That's fun.
And it would have been fun if I hadn't been single mother, actually. It would have been more fun. I mean, it was fun because, you get to travel a lot. And especially if you've got British artists, then you get to, then you can just, like I would, for example, I'd be able to phone someone up in even Thailand, but say Iceland was the example I was going to say, and say, oh, I'll bring out so and so and so and so, and can I come too? And you basically you've got a passport to anywhere, doing that. But it's also quite boring. I mean, I have to say, I mean, it was like, it's quite fun if you want to go out and if you're into that life. But at that time, I was turning 30 and I had a young child, and I didn't really want to, I wanted to put a stop on going out so much, not do it more. And you have to do that for work, and also the traveling sounds fun, but in reality you go to a club, you see the inside of a club, you go out for dinner, you see the inside of a club, then you're back on the plane the next day. Sometimes you get a couple of days there, but very, very rarely. And so it's not proper traveling, really.
I've traveled for work before as well, and as much as I think I've had maybe one day at times when one time I was in Geneva and I could take a day to just wander around, and then I was lucky enough when I went to France once for a sale, it was in the south of France in Beaune, and I then asked if I could just take a few days, if we could postpone my ticket back so that I could take a few days in Paris, because I had never been to Paris, and that was my first time. So I know that if I would have done it more often, it definitely would have been hit the ground, go to the auction room, go and work, get back on the plane. And that's what it would have been.
And traveling's very tiring.
It is. It's exhausting. You don't have your routine, anything like that. But you have had quite a diverse professional career so far. So you've been the Get Tested campaign manager for the Hepatitis C Trust. And you've also founded and currently direct the well-known initiative Art on a Postcard, which raises money for the Hepatitis C Trust. So can you tell me about this development and how you came to combine charity aid with art?
So I stopped working because I felt ill all the time. And about a month or so after I stopped working, I found out I had Hep C. So, because I was always ill, always ill. And then, so that kind of took quite a big chunk out of my working life, actually. I know what I was doing. I did a master's in documentary research. And while I was doing my master's, the chance to do treatment came up. So I thought, okay, I'll do because I had to do a research dossier. And I thought, right, I'll make my treatment, my Hep C, and, my research dossier. It was the information about Hep C at the time was very, very little, and I just didn't know what I was. On the one hand, reading on the internet that I could die from this, and on the other hand, my doctor was saying, well, you'll be okay. It's like, well, what is it? Am I going to die? Or, there was nothing, absolutely nothing on the internet, nothing. When I was doing it was so clear that I should make it into a film. And first of all, I wanted to do it from a woman's point of view, but that was only because I had such a good title, which was Chicks on Interferon. But anyway, it's not a women's issue, really. So I applied for the money to make the film through the Hepatitis C Trust. So by applying as a charity, I was able to apply for money from the Wellcome Trust. So I was able to apply for this £50,000 grant from the Wellcome Trust, as well as other grants as well. So I was able to make the documentary, and that's how I came to know the Hepatitis C Trust, yeah. So during the film, I got the result of my treatment because I was filming my treatment.
Yeah.
And it hadn't worked. And Charles said at the time, oh, well, you can come and work for us. Okay. The people that are affected by hepatitis C, mostly, are drug addicts. And, obviously there are a lot of people that aren't drug addicts, but mostly it's, you get it through taking drugs. And so with drug use comes mental illness and all sorts of issues that, you're not going to want to put your head above the parapet. You feel like as bad as you possibly can anyway. You're not going to come up for more abuse. But anyway, yeah, so I was on this kind of thankless task that he brought me in because I'd worked in music to try and create this kind of, vibe.
Yeah.
But I did, like you mentioned, the Get Tested, which was fun. Because I'd worked in music, I was able to get, like, for example, my friend Ziggy used to run Festival, and so she gave me a backstage pass to all the dressing rooms and stuff. And I went with a photographer who's now actually my sister-in-law, Charlotte. Yeah. And we went backstage and photographed Lily Allen and just all sorts of people. And she photographed them, and we did this campaigns. And so I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah. And so can you tell me a little bit more then about how Art on a Postcard started?
Yeah.
Because that kind of developed from that.
Yeah.
And from what I understood, it was supposed to be a one-off secret auction.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was so successful that it's been running for the past 8 years.
Yeah, yeah. So I was already doing kind of art auctions in Ibiza for the Trust.
Okay.
And Art on a Postcard started because I was working with Saskia Whitfield, who was incredibly well connected, and her stepfather was David Sylvester, who's Francis Bacon's biographer, and her father Clovis Whitfield, who owns the Whitfield Gallery. I think it's called the Whitfield Gallery in Bond Street, and he's a Caravaggio scholar. And it was quite funny actually, because when we were doing when we were putting the Art on a Postcard together, we were looking for somewhere to do it, and we couldn't find anywhere, and just as the sort of last place fell through, Saskia went, oh, I suppose I'll have to ask my father. And I was like, oh, what has he got a gallery? He said, yeah. Where? Bond Street. It's like, why? Why haven't we asked him already? It was like, anyway. So we did it there. And the first one was amazing, actually. We got, as it is often with beginner's luck, because you're fresh and you kind of like just punch above your weight. And we got Mark Quinn, Sam Taylor-Wood, Gilbert and George. We got Damien Hirst and Harlan Miller and who else? Gavin Turk, and God,
so cool.
So many huge names.
Yeah.
I choose the artists. I also have, like I covered already, I've started taking on or looking for guest curators.
Yeah.
And also we do prints, so it's research, trying to sort of like, I do so much researching for artists on the internet. Artsy is such a great tool, but just to see people's work, Artsy is really good.
Yeah.
And to see kind of what it's going for and stuff like that. Yeah. It's good.
So your day-to-day really entails a whole variety of things. Like you're researching artists, you're looking at, okay, what can we do to further the auction, like looking at developing prints, and then, all of this around fundraising, raising awareness, building these 3 auctions, organizing everything that goes around it. Art on a Postcard is an amazing way to not only support a charity, but also collect from some of the world's greatest artists. I mean, what was it? I think I looked at one of Marina Abramovich's works because she contributed, and it starts at £50, and I think hers sold for 600 if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, that's amazing. And so I have to ask, are you a collector yourself?
I mean,
you see yourself as that?
I am, but I wouldn't call myself a serious collector in any way, shape or form. I mean, everything I've got here is original. The fact that you can get something by Marina Abramovich from us for 600 quid. You know what? That was really funny that it went for the auction that was in.
Yeah.
It was a secret auction. And there was these guys that used to, when I did the secret auctions, they would name every single person. You could go, who's that? And if it was like, I don't know, some sort of American abstract, quite obscure, they'd get it. They'd get every single, they used to sort of, and they said, yeah, we know which one's Marina. And I was like, oh, right, okay, and just took it for their word that they did.
Yeah.
Right? Then they also, some people thought it was because I had Boo Saville. She had drawn a very nice glass of water, and Marina Abramovich had done something about a glass of water, so they all thought there was that was that. And she'd done something called Walking Through Walls. Her book was called Walking Through Walls, and there was a picture, a photograph of someone walking through a wall. So the money went everywhere, hers just went for £600, and very few people got it. That was because it was skin.
That is so funny. So the secret auction, isn't that when you don't know who the artist is? Yeah. You look at the artwork and then you bid on it, and you then find out afterwards. That's what we used to do,
yeah. We used to do that. I stopped that during the pandemic. Well, I stopped it during the women's auction first, because when we did a women's auction, I thought it's weird to hide the women, and I don't know, it just felt better. No, we don't, it's not, Yeah. Anyway, and then during the pandemic, we thought it would be better.
I wanted to ask, because you go about selecting the artists and now you're bringing guest curators in, so how do you go about choosing the collaborators, be it artists or the curators, for example? What do you look for?
My first one was, I did with Jealous. I asked them to. It was when Louise Fitzjohn was still with Jealous. And she's actually started her own gallery now in Margate. But... and I knew she would do it so carefully. I love Dario too. Dario is with Jealous, and he's just such a great guy. He owns Jealous, I mean, and I adore him. But I knew Louise would just go all out for it. Yeah, and she did. And then she curates. Molly.
Yeah.
Again,
Molly Barnes.
Her taste is immaculate.
Yeah,
it really is. And the way she presents it all as well, it's so impressive. It just looks great, her page. And also I thought she had a good presence. I've got to look for that as well. It's like, who will you bring with you? Yeah. Because I run it like a business. I run this like a business. So it's got to be like, do you have a lot of followers? Do you have a lot of people interested in you? What artists do you have the influence to get to us? Yeah. So yeah.
Absolutely. And speaking of curators, the auction, currently open and going on until April 21st, has been curated by India Rose James, who is a London-based curator and gallery owner. Yeah. And the proceeds from this auction won't be going to the Hepatitis C Trust, and instead they'll be donated to Choose Love to support Ukrainian refugees. Yeah. So can you tell me about the motivation for this auction and about some of the artists who have contributed, maybe some of your favorites?
Yeah, I go quite a way back with India now. And she has got her own gallery. She knows a lot of, she's very entrenched in the London art scene, and I knew she would pull something really good together.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. And also she really champions young artists. I mean, what she does is brilliant. She uses the position she's in to help, to give people like space and time to show their work. And she's such a great person. I think she's lucky to have all this space in Soho, and she uses it really for the good. And she's got a great eye. So who am I excited about? I'm really excited about Alma Barrow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so are they, because I know there are two sculptures in the auction by Alma Barrow, and she's... Three? Yeah. Oh, 3. Are they all the cigarette butts? Yes. So 3 cigarette butts. And is it going to be, a small cigarette, like an actual cigarette-sized ceramic cigarette butt?
That's exactly what it is.
I love it.
Yes, so do I.
But I mean, God, it's amazing because it also encourages more people to invest in the arts. And even if the money for that is going into the Hepatitis C Trust, or it's going to a charitable cause, it's also raising the awareness for these artists, which is also great. I mean, everyone is benefiting from it. I, as a collector and art historian, someone who really is passionate about the arts, benefits from participating in any way, and the artists benefit, the trust or the charity that receives the funds benefits. It's such a great system.
Yeah.
Are there any future plans for Art on a Postcard that you could possibly divulge with me here today?
Yes. So what I really want to do is start supporting other charities as well.
Yeah.
Or we could give them the whole Art on a Postcard experience, or we could just do bits and pieces for them. We can help them with. We've got a lot of expertise to share, and I'd love to be able to share it with other charities and help as many charities as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's a great fundraising tool.
Well, to wrap up, I just have one final kind of fun, casual question for you. And if you could have dinner with one artist, I'm going to say from art history or even from contemporary, if you'd like, who would it be and why?
Okay. Yeah, I should have given that one some thought.
Who's kind of the first person that your heart kind of gravitates towards? Like, who's the one of the first people that pops into your mind?
Okay, well, maybe...
That might be...
I know this sounds, like, pretentious, but maybe Giotto.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'd just like to know what he was like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know. And, like, was he kind of, pious and into the Bible, or was he kind of mad and unruly? And I don't know anything about Giotto.
Yeah.
I just, I know that sounds...
No, not at all. I feel like I really relate because one of my favorite artists is Caravaggio, and so I feel like I would really love to go and meet him and just know what he was like and find out all of these things that so many scholars have contemplated, like what was he really like, what were the scandals and all of that. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Gemma, that concludes all of my questions. Thank you so much for sitting down with me, and it was great. It was great, and I really appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you.
And that is it for today on All About Art. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a rating or a review, as it helps more people discover the show. Also, feel free to share with your friends, or if you share on social media, tag me and get in touch. Thank you so much for listening.